Have you ever had a dream so real, so incredibly vivid, that you woke up feeling like it actually happened? What if I told you there are dreams, those that don't just stay in your mind, dreams that, days later, manifest in reality with every detail, including the most horrifying ones? No, this isn't just another scary story, it's a warning. Today, you'll hear true accounts of dreams that tore through the boundary between sleep and life, and brought back things that should never have left the subconscious. But before we dive in, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who always says, it's just a dream. Maybe you can still save them. Now, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and prepare to never sleep peacefully again. It started as just a dream, but there was something off about it. A silent unease, like being watched from somewhere unseen. Each time it began the same way. I found myself in an old, abandoned house. Dark wood floors creaking under my feet. A lingering smell of dampness, aged dust, and something deeper I couldn't identify, turning my stomach. Furniture covered in white sheets, motionless, like corpses left to rot. The silence was thick, silent, oppressive, leaving your skin crawling as if cold breath dripped down the hallway. And always, always, there was him, at the end of each dream. Past a door or around a corner, he stood, immobile, faceless, just a human-shaped silhouette. But something was wrong. The angle of his head, the tilt of his shoulders, subtle but deeply disturbing. He never moved, never said a word, but I knew he was watching me. The first time, I ignored it. The second, I woke up drenched in sweat. The third, I started fearing sleep itself. Most strangely, each night, the house became more familiar. Not something I dreamed I remembered. I noticed details. A crack in the living room wall, a crooked crucifix in the hallway, a door secured with 3 rusty latches. Then, one random afternoon, I stumbled upon an image on an urban exploration forum. My heart stopped. It was the same house. Exact. Even the crack in the wall looked identical. Same number of windows. The same bent iron gate. There was no mistake. In the post's comments, one line stood out, written by an anonymous user. "This house isn't empty. I saw it too, and he's still in there." I closed the browser, stomach churning, mouth dry, and that feeling rushed back. That very same, from the dream. He was watching me. Not from afar, not from the inside. Much, much closer. Something inside me changed after that day. You know that feeling when you realize you've crossed a line you can't come back from. I carried that feeling in my chest. It followed me into every room, especially into the mirrors. I started avoiding them. I know it sounds weird, but mirrors began to feel like eyes. Eyes that weren't mine. Even just walking past one, without looking straight into it, I could sense something waiting, watching, learning. Then it happened. It was a cloudy morning. I left the house to clear my head, walked for hours without thinking, like I was being drawn somewhere. That's when I found the place. A small, run-down antique shop, tucked between modern buildings like a fossil out of time. In the middle of its dusty window display, was it the mirror? The exact one from my dream. Gold frame, shaped like a stretched oval, cracked in delicate, web-like patterns, covered in grime, but reflecting almost too perfectly. My blood went cold. I stood there, frozen. Minutes passed. Even from outside, it felt like something inside that mirror was looking back. I walked into the store. A bell rang, a sharp, metallic chime that made my skin crawl. The shopkeeper barely looked at me, just stared, silent, like he knew. I bought it, took it home, hung it in the hallway. Big mistake. That night, I dreamed again. But I wasn't just looking into the mirror this time. I was inside it. Everything around me looked like my home but wrong. slightly distorted, like a twisted copy. The walls were closer, the air heavier, colors drained, and in the center, the mirror. I stepped toward it, and there I was, but not really. My reflection was delayed, a second behind, like it wasn't a reflection, but something trying to imitate me. Then, it smiled, not a normal smile, slow, twisted, like skin stretching over something too large underneath. I screamed awake, but the next morning, it wasn't over. I passed the mirror, just like I always did, only this time, it blinked, before I did, like it knew I was coming. The body can take a lot, but what the mind can't handle, it sends back in the form of nightmares. That night, my mind sent everything back at once. It was late. I hadn't slept well in days. I left the lights on. The TV was playing some old movie with the sound muted, just flickering images, hoping they'd keep me company long enough to drift off. And eventually, I did. But the dream wasn't a dream. It was my room. Same bed, same light overhead, same faint hum of the fan. Except, the sound was off. There was a tone. Not quite a whisper, not quite a silence, something in between. Like someone was holding their breath, just behind the wall. Then, I heard it. A whispered. At first, it felt like a thought I hadn't thought. Then it became clearer, louder, a voice, and it said my name, Lucas. Drawn out. Slurred, like a tongue learning how to pronounce something it was never meant to say. I tried to move but couldn't. I was stuck, frozen between sleep and waking. The voice repeated itself, again, getting closer, more familiar. Then, it whispered something else. You brought me back. I jolted awake, sat up, gasping for air. TV still flickering, room still dim, but the voice didn't stop. It was coming from the corner, the darkest part of the room. I didn't move, couldn't. I tried to tell myself it was leftover dream static, just my brain playing tricks, but then I heard breathing. Right behind me, a slow, wet exhale. I turned, no one there. But the presence, the pressure in the air, it stayed. And after that night, the voice came back. Every single night. But it didn't just say my name anymore. It said things it shouldn't have known. Things I'd never told anyone. Secrets, childhood memories, thoughts I'd buried, things even I forgot. Now, I knew. It wasn't just a voice. It was inside the dream, inside the room, inside me. I woke up in pain. Not a nightmare kind of pain. Not that fading phantom ache that disappears as soon as you open your eyes. This was real. Sharp, burning, throbbing. I threw the blanket off me and looked down. There were scratches on my legs. Long, parallel lines, like claws had dragged across my skin while I slept. The cuts were fresh. Some still oozed blood. I ran to the bathroom, turned on the light, my face pale, shaking, and found more bruises. On my shoulders, on my ribs. One perfectly round one on my left wrist. Like someone had grabbed me, hard. I stared at myself in the mirror, trying to piece it together. What the hell had I done in my sleep? Fell, had a seizure, sleepwalked into a doorframe. No. The scratches were too precise. The bruises were too strategic, like fingers had wrapped around me. I tried to ignore it, to explain it away, but the next night, I didn't even sleep. I stayed awake, fully alert, lights on, coffee pulsing through my veins, and still, in the morning, more marks. Even without sleep, they kept appearing. 1 on my back, 3 on my right ankle, a perfect circle on my chest, like a brand. I went to the doctor, scans, blood tests, all clean. Probably stress, they said. But stress doesn't carve symbols into your skin while you're watching TV. Stress doesn't leave symmetrical finger marks like you've been pinned down by someone stronger than you. Then came the burns. Small at first, reddened patches, like sunburn, then deeper, angrier. One night, I woke up screaming. The inside of my palm was blistered, like I'd grabbed something hot in my sleep. But there was nothing in my room. No candles, no heater, nothing that could have done this. And the burns, they formed patterns, swirls, rings, something like runes. It felt like something was claiming me, branding me. Like every night, I left part of myself behind in those dreams. And now, something was trying to finish the job, piece by piece, and soon, there'd be nothing left to wake up. That night, the dream was different, sharper, more detailed, more prophetic. It didn't feel like I was dreaming something random anymore. It felt like I was watching something scheduled to happen, like fate had a script, and I'd just been given an early look at page 1. In the dream, I was walking down a narrow street. The buildings on both sides were tall, but all their windows had been covered, boarded up, or bricked over, like they were blind. The sky was gray, not cloudy, just colorless, lifeless, like the whole world had stopped breathing. And in the middle of the street, she stood there, a woman, back to me, soaking wet, wearing a ripped black dress. Her arm trembled slightly as she pointed toward something behind her. That's when I saw them. 3 utility poles lined up behind her, and from each one, a body hung. One was mine. Same torn hoodie. Same scar on my chin from when I fell off my bike as a kid. Same shoes I wore that night. The corpse opened its eyes and stared at me. I screamed, woke up gasping, crying, but it didn't feel like waking. It felt like a countdown. The next day, everything started happening, exactly as dreamed. It began with phrases. Strangers saying the same exact things I'd heard in the dream. A woman at the crosswalk humming the same out-of-tune melody. A man yelling into his phone the same insult, word for word. Even the same puddle of water on the same street corner, shaped like a twisted heart. Everything, beat for beat. By afternoon, I was panicking. I tried to stay home, lock myself inside, erase the dream, but something pulled me out, dragged me, almost, and before I knew it, I was there. That street, those blind buildings, that same dead sky, and her, the woman in the black dress. Only this time, she turned around, and she didn't have a face, just smooth, pale skin where a face should have been. No eyes, no mouth, just nothing. She pointed behind me, and even though I didn't want to, I turned. The poles were there. So were the bodies, and in the middle, still swinging slightly, was me. It wasn't just a dream anymore. It was a schedule, and from that day forward, I started dreaming about tomorrow, and every one of those dreams came true. Every single one. Like my subconscious had become a cursed calendar, counting down the days to something I can't yet name. But I know this. Dreams don't predict, they warn, and no warning comes without a purpose. I thought I could outrun it, that if I left everything behind, my house, my name, my reflection, maybe I'd leave the dreams behind too. But you can't run from something that wakes up with you. I moved, new city, no mirrors in the apartment, no windows without blinds. No reminders, just white walls, bright lights, and sleep deprivation. For a while, I felt safe, until I finally collapsed. After 7 straight nights of fighting sleep, my body gave up. I blacked out on the floor, wrapped in a blanket, surrounded by every light I owned. But when my eyes closed, I was back in the house from the first dream. Only this time, it wasn't empty anymore. The walls breathed. The furniture twitched beneath their sheets like something inside was trying to stretch, and the air was alive with whispers. Soft, childish, but wrong, like something imitating human speech without understanding it. Then, at the end of the hallway, he stood there, not far, not still, closer than ever. I couldn't see his face, but I felt it. Felt his focus on me, like needles sliding beneath my skin. He raised one arm and pointed past me. There was a mirror. I turned, and what I saw wasn't me. My reflection had no color. The skin was pale and cracked. The eyes were dark, hollow, wrong, and the smile was wide, too wide, like it had been cut in. And then it stepped forward, out of the mirror, toward me. That's when I woke up, gasping, shaking. But something was different. The room didn't feel empty. It felt occupied. The air was heavier. The light bulbs buzzed like they were under pressure, and I knew I hadn't woken up alone. The reflection didn't stay in the mirror. Now, it follows me, in windows, in puddles, in polished silverware. It watches, through anything that reflects. It's always smiling, and sometimes, when I blink, I'm not the one who opens my eyes. So if you're listening to this, go look in your mirror. Really, look, watch long enough, and tell me, is the reflection still following you? Or has it already stepped out? Still think it was just a dream? Go ahead. Check your mirror tonight. See if it's still just you. If you liked this story, click the link below and explore even deeper horrors in our exclusive ebook. But remember, some dreams aren't meant to be remembered, and others never let you wake up.